Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Will.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons & Dragons, from rascally revenants to rambunctious rapscallions. And today we're talking about Ranger subclasses, the Beastmaster, and the Monster Slayer. And today we have a special guest with us. Joining us will be Eric Silver from the Join the Party podcast.
The Dungeoncast.
Hey Eric.
Hello, I'm back.
Back again.
I know, it's been a while. I think you last joined us on the Monk episode.
Monk Revisited?
So long ago.
Was it Monk Revisited? No, it was the original Monk episode, I think.
It was original Monk. I remember. It's been so long.
Because I remember we talked about the 4-element Monk.
That's like, it feels like a different show.
I know, right? A long time ago. So
funny,
how have you been, Eric?
It's been good. I mean, all relative because the world is terrible apocalypse, and apparently I have not leveled myself up enough to prepare myself for it. But it's actually kind of nice with Multitude, the podcast collective and studio in which I helped co-found and work for. It's nice knowing that I can't be laid off and I already know how to record remotely, so it all kind of worked out.
Indeed,
we are privileged as podcasters with the ability to work from home.
It's true. It's very true. All right, guys. Well, today we're covering some Ranger subclasses, one from the PHB and one from Xanathars.
Yeah.
One heavily criticized and the other, I think, pretty widely accepted.
Well
and liked.
received, I
yeah,
feel
I
like.
think so. Let's start with the heavily criticized one. We're going to talk about the Beastmaster.
Absolutely.
So the Beastmaster archetype embodies an extraordinary friendship between the Ranger and a special beast. You get a pet. This is the one where you get a pet.
Yeah, you get a cool, loyal animal.
I think when people think of the Ranger, this is the first kind of Ranger they think of, like archetypically.
Okay.
Even though this is considered to be one of the worst subclasses.
Yeah, like you see images of the Ranger with like
an animal
a
of some
wolf
sort.
or a dog or whatever it may
something
be.
along those lines.
Well, it's a real bummer, which I feel like is just kind of the world we live in right now, is like when cool things are now thought to be automatically maligned. Like, oh, wow, the guy who has a cool pet that attacks? Yeah, everyone fucking hates that. It's just kind of like...
Well, I think with this one, it's more along mechanically, it doesn't work out well because I think Wizards was trying to avoid overpowering the pet, and in doing so, they underpowered the pet. But let's get into it, and you guys can tell me what you guys think of the Ranger's Companion. So, at level 3, you get the feature called Ranger's Companion. You gain a beast companion that accompanies you on your adventures and is trained to fight alongside you. So, when you do this, you choose a beast that is no larger than medium and that has a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower. There are statistical examples like the Hawk, the Master, the Panther. You add your proficiency bonus to the beast's AC, attack rolls, damage rolls, as well as any saving throws and skills it is proficient in. And that's kind of the scaling, leveling, if you will. It's all based off your proficiency bonus, which I don't think is enough, but is what it is. Its hit point maximum equals the hit point number in its stat block or 4 times your Ranger level, whichever is higher. So that's another way of it scaling.
Okay.
Like any creature, it can spend hit die during a short rest to regain its hit points. The beast obeys your commands as best it can. It takes its turn on your initiative. On your turn, you can verbally command the beast where to move. This requires no action on your part. You can use your action, though, to verbally command it to either attack, dash, disengage, or help. Once you have the extra attack feature, you can make one weapon attack yourself when you command the beast to take an action, so you can double attack with your beast.
Right.
And depending on the pet that you have, that could be beneficial or not.
Okay.
If you don't issue a command, the beast will automatically take the dodge action. If you are incapacitated or absent, the beast acts on its own, focusing on protecting you and itself. The beast never requires your command to use its reaction. So that's one great use for the beast, is the opportunity attack. You can put it somewhere, and at least it's going to do an opportunity attack no matter what.
Yeah, that reaction is important. The auto dodge action is really important too. Like imposing the disadvantage is going to help that thing live.
Yeah. While traveling through your favorite terrain with only the beast, you can move stealthily at normal pace. If the beast dies, you can obtain a new companion by spending 8 hours magically bonding with a beast that isn't hostile to you, that meets the requirements. So That's the main feature you're going to get as this. Everything else is going to be based off that one feature of having a pet.
Yeah, I mean you're getting a bunch of normal ranger stuff, but then we're just talking about the
this is just the
right
subclass stuff. You're going to get plenty of ranger stuff that you get from the base class.
Yeah, you get some magic and here and there.
So at level 7, you get a feature called Exceptional Training. On any of your turns, when your beast companion doesn't attack, you can use a bonus action to command the beast to take the dash, disengage, dodge, or help action on its turn. In addition, the beast attacks now count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Now that's a big one because that wasn't in the original player's handbook. They had to errata that in where the beast's attacks become magical. Because as you level up, if your attacks stop being magical, they stop being effective pretty much at all.
Right. I think almost all the monsters we talked about during our Halloween Spooktacular had magical resistance to non-magical attacks. Like all basically at some point in the game, you're going to be at the level where the monsters you're using from the monster manual are going to have that attached to them.
Exactly.
From like almost here out.
Right.
It's like until the very end of the game, like everything gets that.
So I remember that being a big deal because that was one of the major critiques against this subclass was...
Like my beast becomes half powered.
Exactly.
You know, like or maybe not half constituted, but...
Well, I mean, yeah, not half constituted, but the damage output halves.
Right.
Like, pretty much instantly.
What I think is really funny about this is the justification. Like, what did you give your dog like magic gloves? that you, no, I can kill whites now. Like, it's fine. The thing that's really interesting about this and why I'm very confused about the action economy of this, just these two tying together, is that Dungeons and Dragons is a game about killing things. And if you're making the pet go on your turn, you're like, hey, either you get to shoot something with a bow or a dog bites something. It's like, which are you going to choose? But then this thing in the 7, the new one that they're getting is that you can use your bonus action to let them do actions that are not attacks. Like, I wish that maybe your pet was now smart enough to like open a bottle or access a magic item or something, or do something that's not fighting, which if you have an interesting encounter, maybe you need them to hit a button, pull a lever, help a prisoner, whatever.
I like that.
So I feel
having
like
your animal be like somewhat trained to do these mundane tasks, like, you know, like a show dog would know to sit, stay, speak, those sorts of things, shake hands. Animals can do those types of things.
Yes, they can.
So
and
why wouldn't your Beastmaster?
I imagine a lot of the animals that the Beastmaster is going to be having a bond with are of the higher intelligent types too. Right. So
the dog
I
whisperer,
can see that. I think that's something you probably have to DM in, but I could see that being feasible for sure.
Yeah, the dog whisperer was like one of my picks for a character build, but yeah, I didn't go with it.
That would have been cool.
Yeah,
there's a lot of squishiness that a DM can really help you with, and also like the 1/4 is a little icky. Like like what does that even mean necessarily? I just think if Scooby-Doo can do it, my beast companion should also be able to do it.
Except maybe for talking.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea here is that the bond is magical. So I almost view it almost like druidic magic, where it's like through the bond you both become stronger. This is why like the attacks start becoming magical. There's like some sort of primal magic at work here.
Yeah,
and thus like I think the creature itself should also become more powerful in a way that's reflected better than with the scaling that they have in mind, which I think is too weak.
It's the power of friendship.
It's the power of friendship. There we go.
I think you get the dog becomes magical because your relationship is magical.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Absolutely.
It's an anime.
And everyone knows that Shaggy was a druid, so it also kind of all fits.
Absolutely.
Speak with Animals is always on. He just smokes his nature weed. And
so at level 11, you get a feature called...
I need to say one more thing before we move on. Rut-row kobolds. All right, we can
there
move on.
There we go.
And I need to say one more thing. Did you know Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane?
Yes, I did know that.
I did know that. Yes, I did.
Sometimes you bring that up and people like are.
They don't know that?
A common question when talking about Scooby-Doo is what kind of dog even is that?
Oh, yeah, he's a Great Dane.
It's a Great Dane.
Yeah. I've known that since I was a kid, though.
Fun fact.
I have to say another thing, really important.
Yeah.
Rut-row goblins. There we go.
All right.
Here, let's move
level
on.
11. Bestial Fury is a feature you get. When you command your beast companion to take an attack action, the beast can make 2 attacks, or it can take the multi-attack action if it has that action. Now, I think this was also an errata. I'm not positive, but I think the whole multi-attack action wasn't a possibility
Yeah, that
beforehand.
sounds a little stronger than I remember.
There's only a few of the pets that have that. I can't remember if I printed those ones. I printed out the 4 beasts that I thought were the best.
Yeah, we got giant poisonous snake.
No, don't spoil.
Oh,
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Well,
I thought you were prompting me.
We got one more feature.
All right.
But yeah, the multi-attack action, I think that's an improvement. Either way, I like that. I think it's a good feature.
Okay.
And then the final feature you get for the subclass is share spells, beginning at 15th level. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, you can also affect your beast companion with the spell if the beast is within 30 feet. Now, this is a good feature. I feel like it comes a bit late. But then again, as a half caster, I'd have to look at the ranger list and like really look at what even applies to this situation. Because I'm thinking like cleric spells like Shield of Faith and what else, like a bless and stuff like that. But I don't know. Obviously, the ranger doesn't get those. But those types of spells would be awesome to have on 2 things at once every time.
Definitely.
So.
I feel like share spells should have been 7, and exceptional training should have just been what it is. Like, should have just been rolled.
Yeah, and then maybe for our number 15, something a little more potent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They kind of really try to fix some of this stuff in Ranger Revised.
Right.
Like
right.
The pet goes on its own initiative. Which I think is very interesting, but then it becomes this whole thing, and we can talk about this when we talk about Druid, Shepherd, the Circle of Shepherd, Druid. It's like, man, then you're just the kind of person who has to manage not just one. You act on 2 turns, which is a bummer.
Yeah. Is that kind of like how sidekicks work? I know sidekicks are starting to like get a little more traction in the game, but I haven't really looked at it.
Me neither.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole problem with the subclass in the first place, was trying to balance the action economy. If we give it its own initiative, that's out the gate maybe too powerful.
Yeah, because you have a fighter that can do 2 turns, and that's like his whole thing.
Yeah.
And, now you just have a guy that does it every time, even though it's like a sub thing. But it's every turn.
Yeah,
you know?
it is every turn. What were you saying,
I'm
Eric?
fine with that if it's a quarter or a half CR. Like, that's fine, as long as it can't fly and then dive bomb me and get out of there like a Pidgey.
Yeah.
I'll be fine with it.
One of my beasts can do exactly that. So.
Yeah.
Oh, as a DM, I fucking hate it. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, flying, man. That's like an issue for sure in party flight.
I did. Do you want to read off those pet sub?
Can I now?
You can now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get to good pets. But before we get to what I consider to be the good pets, is there anything else you guys want to say about the Beastmaster?
Oh yeah. Eric, you got anything else before we start reading stat blocks?
I just think it's really interesting as someone who played a lot of those MMORPGs, like even like not even WoW, but like Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. That was my shit. That was my favorite thing when I was a kid. Like being the Beastmaster was always so much fun, even having like a panther running around. And I just like Dungeons and Dragons. I think, like I said, their intent is to be an adventurer and go kill things and then like win and truly adventure in the fantasy sense. And I don't think that they understand how to manage a relationship between an adventurer and a subservient thing that helps you. But I think that, as we are going to see, even with the next subclass we're going to talk about, when you are in a game that is more than just dungeon crawling and dealing with things, the DM needs to help you figure that stuff out.
Yeah, and I really think that's the idea. I think the idea is that the rules parts are for like the physical, the combat stuff, the magic stuff, and all that stuff, and the role play, the relationship stuff. That's supposed to be between the people playing the game.
Right, but I think that that's the issue. I think that people who like role play and story sometimes bump up the mechanics of the game, and this is where it bumps up. If you want to have an animal companion, your action economy is going to be really bad, and I don't want to penalize someone for having a friend.
That's the issue.
Yeah,
I think.
Exactly. I understand what you mean.
It's that balance. You have to walk that line. But
And
All
it's
right,
so weak. It's so weak. Might as well give them their own initiative. It's not like the sidekick.
Exactly. Exactly. Since they're so tied to a quarter rating, might as well give them their own initiative.
Exactly.
But let's go over what I thought were some of the best. Now, some of these pets I consider the best because of how much better they become if you are playing a ranger that is of the small size. So a halfling, a gnome, a kobold, or a goblin. The reason that a lot of these pets become so much better is because you can ride these motherfuckers, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So go ahead and read some of these stat blocks, Brian.
All right, so I'm just going to read them in the order they were given to me, which looks like it's already alphabetical.
Oh,
so
nice.
we have the giant poisonous snake, which is a medium beast of unaligned.
They're all in line. They're beasts.
We got armor class 14 with a hit points of 11. The speed here, I think, is important because it's got 30 feet of regular, movement speed plus swim speed of 30 feet.
Yeah, swim speed is nice.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Strength is 10, Dex is 18, Con is 13, Intelligence is 2. Wow, that's bad.
18
it's a
Dex,
snake.
damn.
Yeah. Wisdom is 10 and Charisma is 3. So yeah, pretty bad. These are some of the worst. 2 and 3 is some of the worst stuff you can do for sure.
Yeah, sure.
So the perception is a +2. Okay. I don't know. Does that seem right?
You add your proficiency bonus to any of their skills, so
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, the senses are blind sight for 10 feet, which
that's
is cool.
good.
Especially when you're fighting something like a displacer beast.
Yeah,
That's
and
probably
blind
pretty good.
sight basically at level 3. You got something with blind sight. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. Passive perception is 12, with the challenge rating is obviously a quarter. For the actions, you do get a bite, which is a melee weapon attack. That's +6 to hit, not bad. With a reach of 10 feet, not bad. It's one target, so it's going to be 1d4 plus 4 piercing damage plus 3d6 poison damage.
Yep,
That's
there we go.
hardy.
That's that damage right there.
The target must make a DC 11 Constitution saving throw, taking the poison damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. And at the low levels, poison still works. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, so that's why I picked that one, because the poison damage is pretty good. I'm trying to remember, do you add your proficiency bonus to their DC save? Let me look.
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know.
I don't think to
attack
the
rolls.
save, just to the attack.
Just to the attack.
Yeah, it says AC attack rolls, damage rolls, as well to any saving throws and skills.
Nice.
I don't think...
No, but not to its saving throw, not your opponent's
Not-
saving
not-
throw.
Yeah,
right? Or-
exactly. Well, I don't know.
I feel like it's no, because I feel like, what, I'm going to juice how good my snake is at poisoning someone else?
Power of friendship, Eric.
The power
I
of
repeat,
friendship.
Power of friendship.
It's the magic weave. Yeah, so this
No,
would,
but yeah, I think you're right. I think it doesn't apply to the DC.
so the DC would stay 11 is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty
yeah.
low. And like, man, hey, we're all DMs here. How often do you put it at water level? Like, really?
Like an overall. I mean, if you're DMing a ranger, then your ranger has a giant poisonous snake. Their favorite terrain is probably like a jungle or a swamp.
the marsh, yeah.
Yeah, so like that's probably something you're going to want to incorporate as
Right,
a DM.
I
If there's
agree,
not a
yeah.
ranger in my game, then like we're not
Less
always.
so, yeah.
We're probably near a river. Like we're near a
Just
source
in
of
general,
water, you
yeah.
know, especially if we're playing the survival mechanics a lot. Like if we're leaning heavy into the survival, like hunter-gathering experience of being an adventurer, like actually being in terrain and like encountering wild animals and doing stuff like that, foraging for food, using the survival and nature skills, left and right as you play, then you're definitely going to run into some of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of in my head, there are 4 like not walking movements that these beasts can do, and this is my least favorite out of the 4.
The swim?
So,
Yeah.
swim.
I think
So,
I
like,
agree with
that's why I
that
wouldn't choose
because
it.
of some of the other ones coming up.
Yeah,
with
so
the
next
swim
one is
and the DC 11 of poison save, least favorite.
they're that quarter challenge rating. I don't think we're gonna. I'm seeing
Yeah,
DC 11 con
it's
save
going
on
to be
this one
DC
too.
11s across the board.
Yeah. So this one's a giant wolf spider, which is a medium unaligned beast. This armor class is 13. The HP is 11. We got a 40-foot movement speed with 40 feet of climbing speed. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Now you mount that as a no. That's pretty badass.
A
You're
gnome
crawling
and a fucking big ass spider. Oh,
Heck
God.
yeah, that's awesome.
That's scary. Strength is
Even
12.
as a massive, I'm thinking about this like even if you were playing like a Goliath or an orc, like think about doing an intimidation roll and having someone back off, and then all of a sudden, spider on your face.
yeah, I know.
So we have strength of 12, dex of 16, not bad, con of 13, intelligence 3, wisdom 12, and charisma 4. So far these giant snakes and spiders are not smart or charming.
Yeah, I would imagine they wouldn't be. So
Skills.
Yeah, I hate it when you're in a situation and your wolf spider has to make a performance roll. Such a
no.
That's maybe. So we got perception +3 and stealth +7, which is nice, and those are going to get boosted by the proficiency bonus, right?
Yes, they are.
So then you have blind sight of 10 feet, again, nice. Dark vision of 60 feet, which is just normal vision, and then passive perception of 13.
Very perceptive.
Yeah, so the spider climb is the spider can climb different surfaces, including upside down on ceilings, without needing to make an ability check. So your giant wolf spider's
If
a
you get
warlock.
like a special saddle made, like you can just hang from the ceiling and like snipe people with your bow.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have really strong thighs,
Well, I said special saddle made that like grips you, but
Sure.
yeah, sure.
Or just-
No,
or
if you
just,
ha-
or just the
no,
strongest
only
thighs.
if you have super sick thighs. Sorry, I don't know these magics. You just got to get really buff in the thighs.
yeah, dude, I have a strength heavy ranger, and it's a gnome, and he does not skip leg day. Web sense. While in contact with a web, the spider knows the exact location of any other creature. Yeah, any other creature in contact with the same web. So like a spider.
Yeah. Now that would be useful in the Underdark where there are a lot of spiders and there is a lot of webbing.
Oh,
yeah,
that
could
is
be very
good.
useful.
Very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And then we have the web walker, which is the spider ignores movement restrictions caused by webbing. So that makes complete total sense.
Yeah.
What would webbing do? Would webbing be like you have to make a strength save to get out of it? Is that like something mechanical?
I think it's listed in the hazardous. Gosh, it's in the DMG, like hazardous terrain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think webbing is one of the things that you can come across.
It's tough terrain and you can get stuck.
Okay.
I remember one of my first games
Yeah.
I ever played was like there was Entercap and you were in an Entercap cavern and that's what it was for. I wonder if the spider itself can make web. That was another thing.
You imagine it would, right? It would have to.
It's not listed here.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
would
I'm
have to
saying.
DM it in, but I mean, there's no reason the spider shouldn't be able to spin a web. It's a spider, right?
Yeah.
But that's
I
the
mean,
thing. That's why I want the action economy here. If like maybe I'll shoot you with my bow, and as a bonus action, my spider can make a web, which will then activate on the next turn. All of those other things.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's interesting. Or like a Spidey web shot sort of.
Yeah, is there like a web shot or at the very least, if you're hanging on the ceiling, you can then shoot your bow and then have your spider like put up a web stick and then and drop you like down, like repel you down.
Yeah, that would be cool. I was just about to say that with the spider climb, I would have that be a part of the spider climb feature.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next thing we have are, I looked up web. A creature restrained by webs can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC. If it succeeds, it's no longer restrained. But I think this is this like a spell?
Yeah,
I
like
think
web
that's
is a
the-
spell.
Yeah.
So do
the
we
spell
use
web.
that, or do we use the actual, there's something else for
I
webs?
think it's called hazardous terrain, and I'm pretty sure it's in the DMG.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, sorry for looking up the wrong thing.
That's all
But
good.
actions are bite, which is a melee weapon attack with +3 to hit with a reach of 5 feet on one creature. On a hit, you're going to get 1d6 plus 1 piercing damage plus 2d6 poison damage. That target must make a DC 11 con save, taking the poison damage on a failed save or half as much on a success. If the poison damage reduces the target to 0 hit points, the target is stable but poisoned for 1 hour, even after regaining hit points, and is paralyzed while poisoned in this way. So cool. If you want to web up a bad guy, or
that's
immobilize
awesome.
a bad guy after you take him down and bring him into jail.
There you go.
That's a good way.
So, I thought that was a pretty handy one. I think there's 2 more.
Yeah, we got 2 more. I'll try to get through them. They're not as long. We have the pterodon.
Oh yeah, this is the
Pteranodon.
flying.
Sorry,
Is this that's a medium one, right?
medium. Yeah, I don't think you can pick above medium.
Yeah. I was just making sure it wasn't small
No, yeah, it's not.
because I think I have to take a closer look at the mount rules, but I think you can ride that one and it flies if you're a gnome.
Oh, nice.
Because
Okay,
the
yeah.
mount rules, I believe it has to be a size category 1 above you,
Right.
to ride it.
So if you're gnome,
if
you're
you're
small.
gnome, you're small. That thing's medium and it can fly.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that we got DC 13 armor, or DC, Jesus, AC. AC 13 natural armor with 13 HP. It's got 10 feet of movement speed, but the flying speed is 60 feet. So that's
Hell
fucking
yeah!
cool.
I believe it has a flyby feature. I'm not sure if I remember that correctly.
We'll get there.
Okay.
12 strength, 15 dex, 10 con, 2 intelligence, 9 wisdom, and 5 charisma, which is slightly better than the last 2 creatures. With a skill, the skills perception +1, passive perception's 11, can't speak languages. But yeah, flyby. The pteranodon does not provoke an opportunity attack when it flies out of an enemy's reach.
So you can fly in, slice someone up, fly out.
Well,
fly in, slice someone up.
That's a
fly
weird thing.
out.
Like the pteranodon doesn't.
And it's the one doing the moving. You're not doing the movement. It is.
But if you enter melee combat range and you leave it, does that? I mean, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the minutia. let's dig into the mechanics. Like technically 2 creatures are occupying the same space, right?
Yeah.
So do we treat...
Well, the reason that the Pteranodon doesn't provoke opportunity attack is because of its movement type.
Yeah, it's got this
So
feature
just
to
because
fly around.
you're on it doesn't change that movement type.
Okay.
You are moving as one with the Pteranodon.
I mean, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you're riding this creature that can do this, it makes sense for you not to get hit by that. I was thinking, like, you know, my nightmare scenario at the table or whatever, where you're arguing with your DM about, like, well, the gnome's in the combat range, so I can hit the gnome and not the...
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the flyby, it works for the righty as well, or the rider.
I think that's the correct way to handle it, for sure. If
Otherwise,
you're allowing this
otherwise this beast is trash, and we shouldn't even read the stat log.
I feel like you need to be, in this case, you need to be a really nice DM to be like, oh yeah, you can ride a dinosaur into battle, I guess.
Exactly.
Why the fuck not?
This whole thing is you being very nice to your DM to let you do it. So maybe just like ask them and see what they say.
Yeah, I can see the Reddit thread on this one, unfolding.
I mean, the Pteranodon is a beast of a quarter challenge rating. There's, it falls within all the rules of the Ranger Beastmaster.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Again, if you're small, you can write it because it's medium.
I'm not saying whether or not it's written in the book. I'm saying you're going to have a problem in real life. You should give your DM some presents.
Well,
yeah, that's what
in my game, I would
too.
just be like, yeah, man, whatever. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, obviously you need to talk these things out beforehand. Be like, hey, I'm going to ride a dinosaur in your game. Is that cool? It's going to not be able to get hit by shit.
As a dungeon master, if a player tells me they're going to fucking fly a dinosaur in my game, I'm like, fuck yeah. Tell me about it.
Just if you're DMing and if you want to have a game where you just punish the shit out of them, like make them not able to fly. Like you can't really fly all that great inside of a dungeon.
Okay,
a lot of
here's
times.
the drawback of the Pteranodon. You're flying by. You swoop in, you swoop back up 40 feet in the air. Someone shoots your Pteranodon with 11 HP and kills it.
Yeah. And
You're now
you gotta
falling 40 feet. There's your drawback. Like,
what I'm just saying is just tell them ahead of time so that your DM can put in stuff like that.
Yeah,
because there's
absolutely.
nothing worse than be like, hey, just like at the table, you're like, man, I'm so excited. I set up this fun encounter with some goblins. One of them has a lisp. They all have funny names. It's gonna be great. And then your friend Will is like, I'm getting on my dinosaur and I shoot all of them in the face. And you're like, oh. Neat.
100%.
Okay.
Though. That's.
I mean, I think as a DM, if you got to be talking to your players about who they're rolling in with, like ahead of time. I mean, that's crazy to me if you're not.
Yeah, you just show up and start playing the game,
That's
and then all of a
crazy.
sudden this
That's
guy's
wild.
flying a dinosaur, and you're like,
it happens
wait.
so often though. Like it happens so often, and then the DM's like, "Oh, no one's gonna meet Bigsby. He was really neat." All right.
But that's also on the DM. It's like if you want them to meet Bigsby, just have them meet Bigsby. Like figure it out.
Yeah, true.
But
no, there are
I think we got
consequences
one
to your
more.
actions.
Or did you finish? Did you finish with this one?
This one I just didn't read the attack, which is a +3 to hit bite. With 5 feet of reach on one target. It does 6 or 2d4 plus 1 pierce.
Okay, so that one was more about the flyby.
Yeah, pretty mild attacker.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a DC 11 con save.
Only
attached to
good
it.
with the flyby.
Yeah, so the next one's a wolf, which is a medium beast of unaligned. It's got 13 natural armor and an 11 HP with 40 feet of movement speed. The strength is 12, dex 15, con 12, intelligence 3, wisdom 12, charisma 6. So all these beasts are pretty similar stat-wise.
As they should be. They're the same challenge rating.
And perception +3, stealth +4, makes sense. Passive perception's 13. So keen hearing and smell, the wolf has advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. And then pack tactics, which is very cool. The wolf has advantage on attack rolls against a creature if at least one of the wolf's allies is within 5 feet of the creature and the ally is not incapacitated. So just like any party member, it sounds like, because if my friends are your friends sort of thing, like the beast isn't loyal to the wizard, but you are and the wizard are loyal to each other most likely.
Yeah, exactly. They're allies.
Yeah. So
this one was for the advantage and then the ability to knock people prone. Like, that's great for even more advantage.
And then we got a bite, which is the melee weapon attack with +4 to hit.
You hadn't read it yet.
Yeah. So, but reach 5 feet, one target. It hits 2d4 plus 2 pierce. If the target is a creature, it must succeed a DC 11 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you have it.
There's the prone ability. So again, great for advantage, great for killing.
Yeah. So those are the beasts you handed me.
Yeah, those were what I consider to be the 4 best pets. I don't know if you guys had any like pets that you preferred or. had in mind.
I have one just for the Earthbender in me. I'm gonna go with the giant badger.
That's what I have.
And I think that this is something. The main cool thing about the second cool thing about the badger gets taken away because it does have multi-attack. He can attack with its bite and its claws. So like maybe if you put that back in, or I don't know, something about. If you beefed up the claws maybe a little bit, that might be nice. But it does do 2d4 plus 1 damage. I will say it has a burrow speed of 10 feet. If you talk to your DM, and something really interesting with that, like it clears a path that, because it is medium, and if your other characters are medium, theoretically it should be able to go through the same tunnel that the badger does.
Like they might have to crawl, but they could get through it.
Yeah, this is an opportunity to get behind enemy lines. You know what I mean?
That's true. 10 feet at a time.
Sneak away, hide for a little bit.
Let's see, what is that, 10 feet every 6 seconds?
Full cover. Yeah, it takes a while.
It takes a while.
This is something you're going to want to do beforehand.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if your badger is in hot water, you know, like time to get away, that 10 feet is really all it's going to need in a lot of
In all honesty,
scenarios.
watching something dig a pit 10 feet deep in 6 seconds would be so impressive.
Horrifying.
Yeah, like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's and it really is Last Airbender because those things are huge and they break through the fucking wall and they're just there.
Yes.
It's exactly like that.
Absolutely.
You could have a secret tunnel and you didn't even know.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Okay, so
so you built a character, right, Brian?
yeah, but I think we want to talk to Eric a little bit about like some concepts that he has, right?
Yeah.
So Eric, what do you think of the Beastmaster? What would you be messing around with if this were you?
So this is something that I've been doing at Join the Party since I last talked to y'all. I've been feeling a little burnt out on straight up fantasy. You know, I don't know, it's just like the way that the world is. I don't really feel like escaping to a world of goblins without like trying to entertain something else and the way that it fits with our society now. I know it does, but it really just feels parallel. So something that I've been doing in Join the Party, we're doing a modern superpowered game right now.
Fun.
So I think that this idea of the Beastmaster, though, fits in any genre. And I think that really thinking about this could be very interesting. Having something, or a hero, whatever that means to you in whatever genre you're playing, that has an animal companion is really interesting. So if you were playing a superpowered character, you're like, this would be, you might have it just an archer, but you also have like a flying companion is incredible. Like that would look so incredible. I was thinking for space, because I know that y'all were doing a space thing. Like maybe your ranger was the mechanic that also does the spacewalks, but like thinking about them having a spider as a pet, and they have like a spacesuit that also has 8 legs.
That's cool. I like that.
Like repairing the
dope.
outside of the ship with their web or something like this.
Yeah.
I think that whatever this is, you can include something that has an animal companion, and it is just as resonant if you're getting out of the I'm going to hack and slash and achieve a quest sort of thing, doing a different genre. The Beastmaster works wherever.
Yeah. That's super dope. I like that idea.
I like it a lot. So what I built today is a level 10 Beastmaster Ranger, and today we're going to be talking about Ranger Danger a little bit.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay.
Oh wow.
So Ranger Danger, for those of you that don't know, is a game that I DM on our Patreon, but it's just nonsense.
I wouldn't say it's just nonsense.
No, it sounds like nonsense.
It is chaos incarnate. But
yeah, it's the most it's the most ridiculous thing we do on the show for sure, in any of the things we make. But let's see, how do I explain it though? It's a party full of Rangers, so it's like 3 to 6 Rangers because I DM PC some people. Yeah. So one of the people I DM PC is Liam Leeson, who is like, it has to be Liam Leeson.
Yeah, I knew it.
It can't be Harry Potter.
I know it can't
like
be
an
Harry
in-canon
Potter,
character in the game.
Yeah.
But he's not a ranger. But he's the only exception. So I have Liam Leeson, who is like the tracker extraordinaire, you know, from the movie Taken. He's got a specific set of skills or whatever the fuck he says. But yeah, so my ranger, pretty much, I'm gonna get. He's archery. He is his animal companion is the giant badger. In Ranger Danger, he's not a Beastmaster, but we have giant badgers all over that game.
We fucking do.
so yeah, really cool creature.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah, burrowing. I think you guys got attacked by a giant a fleet of them.
It was like the mole men attacked or whatever.
Yeah, the mole men attacked.
Yeah.
A fleet of giant badgers, is that what the classification of its plural is? a mining brigade of giant badgers.
There we go.
I love it. Yeah, I had Dr. Molbotnik, which looks like
Yeah, it was Dr.
Robotnik.
Molbotnik. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot
Hey,
about
yeah, this
Molbotnik.
does sound like chaotic trash. What?
It is absolutely. It's like my fever dream where I just say what comes to my mind and make my players deal with it.
Yeah, it's true.
Will
It
drinks
is-
a bunch
it is
of
very
Dimetap
fever
and
dream-esque.
then Brian
Was
just
that-
drinks a bunch of Dimetap and just goes to town.
Yep, that's that, basically, man. I'm always on that stuff. So, yeah, pretty much like I've got lots of cool ranger stuff. Like you're gonna get your favorite terrains and your favorite enemies. I think I took like humanoid, you know, because he's tracking
People,
he's
yeah,
taken.
yeah. His daughter is taken.
Just
Gotcha.
pretty much picture that. I like this level 10 ability, this hide in plain sight, where you become PETA from the Hunger Games.
yeah.
You're starting at 10th level, you can spend 1 minute creating camouflage for yourself. You must have access to fresh mud, dirt, plants.
You become PETA from Hunger Games.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
exactly what it is.
He's like, I make cakes. Also, I'm invisible.
Okay.
That's
That's
how he
why
lives
Katniss
in the
loves
fucking
me,
Hunger
because I
Games.
play in
It
the
is.
He
mud.
hides the whole time.
It fucking works.
And he's like, Katniss, is that you? I would have fucking killed him right there.
I know, right?
So let's see. Is there any other cool like ranger ability? You get the extra attack stuff, which you can use with your beast,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
A favorite terrain in Ranger Danger, you're mandatory. You have to pick mountains, and then you can
Yeah.
pick 2 other ones that are your favorite. Because I think you get 3 at level 10. I think I thought it was 2 for a little while. It's
I think
actually
it is,
3.
It is 3, yeah.
Yeah, I got my companion. We got that. I took like a bunch of random wild ability score increases that I thought were in line with like a Liam Neeson type character, which I took con, I took strength for that action hero thing on my first bump, and then I took like dex intelligence. Just 'cause
Yeah, sure. I think
just
that
thought
fits.
that's who
That's
I'm
who
making.
Liam Neeson is.
Yeah, so I'm
gotcha.
not trying to min max my guy. I'm just
No.
trying to make Liam Neeson or Liam Neeson. So the that's pretty much it though, man. Like it's just a real rough and tumble guy. He's like in charge of a squad of rangers
I know.
in this
Yeah.
canon. So he's the one calling the shots. He's got lots of cool, like obviously everybody's good bearing it up. But he has spell scrolls that he pulls out because he's like a high level, high authority guy.
Yeah.
And he's got
He's
a
been
wit-
an adventurer for a long time.
yeah, he's got like an arcane, like a Q type, you know, making him stuff. So he's doing the, I think there's a lot of cool, what's the barrage of many arrows? What's that spell? Is it called arrow barrage or something like that? Where you just like put out a ton of,
Is it
volley of arrows,
Hail
I
of
think it's called.
Thorns?
yeah.
Isn't just Hail
So
of
that-
Thorns?
Yeah, I think when I play games with rangers, like I'm thinking of, what's the one where you're in hell and you're like an angel? Dungeon crawly. It's a lot like Hades, that game that's out right now.
Okay, got that. Got Hades. A game? Are we talking about a game?
We're talking about a game.
You're an angel in hell?
Yeah, you're like an angel. You're like one of the cross between heaven and hell people. Oh, what the fuck is it? It's a really popular game. You can be a paladin. You can be a ranger. You can.
Oh,
be
you're thinking of Diablo.
Diablo 3.
And it's a demon slayer, not a ranger.
Yeah, but it's the ranger.
Yeah.
So the Demon Slayer in Diablo 3 with the volley of arrows, like I love that character in that game. It's just underpowered. I like to emulate that in when I'm a ranger.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
I want him to do stuff like that. But that's pretty much the gist of it. He's not like a super deep character. Just don't take his daughter.
A variant of this character. A variant of this character is Liam Neeson in Love Actually, where his son is his beast companion, but he has high performance because he can play the drums.
There we
Oh
go.
my God.
Exactly. Yes.
I forgot about that. Okay, so
That's a good movie.
I think we're ready to short rest it?
Yeah, I think a short rest time, then we're going to talk about the Monster Slayer.
All right.
I need my spell slots back.
Indeed.
Better Backstories is a card-based brainstorming tool for creative writing, role-playing, and much more. Similar to tarot cards, you shuffle the deck and play them out using suggestions on the cards to jumpstart your imagination. The basic deck is genre neutral and works with any RPG system. Exclusive big bundle boxes with basic deck and both boosters are available now at betterbackstories.com. The basic deck includes 60 cards, 5 blanks, and 3 reference cards. The mystical booster includes 10 cards focusing on fantasy and magical suggestions, while the technical booster includes 10 cards focusing on sci-fi and technology suggestions. They've even got PDFs and print-on-demand versions available at drivethroughcards.com. Help out your players, spice up your NPCs, and break your writer's block with Better Backstories. Be sure to check them out in the show notes down below.
We've returned.
Indeed we have. And before we jump into the Monster Slayer, I want to give Eric Silver a chance to tell you guys about who he is, what he does, and where he's from, and where you can find him. So, Eric, who are you? What do you do?
Oh, hello. Hi. You might know me as the Dungeon Master of Join the Party, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game, but we are pushing it in so many different directions. I think it sounds really great. I like DMing it. And as I said, our second campaign is a modern powered game in the style of those types of X-Men games that are about like the school and not about wearing neon clothes.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we're really pushing Dungeons & Dragons in a few different ways. You should go listen, and I think it's really neat. The premise of this game is that a town in upstate New York, a mad scientist finds a new element that gives clean energy, but has changed given the people who live in that area low-level powers, but then their children have actual powers. And that town from now we're in 2020 X, and now it is the size of Portland, which is Lake Town City. So there's like a whole new city in New York State, in upstate New York, that is the size of Portland, and how that changes kind of the way the world works. And there's some low-level power stuff happening around and how they explore that area.
Cool.
Yeah, I think you would really like it. You can find it Join the Party, and we're Join the Party Pod on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at EL_Silvero. That is EL_SILVERO. That is my name if I was a Lucha Libre wrestler. And you can find some 2 things that I wrote. There's No Capes. Excuse me. No Capes is a manual about reskinning your fantasy game into a modern game or a powered game, and I came up with new subclasses and talked about like what it's like to reskin and breaking down the fantasy constructions of magic and spell slots into just like powers that people have if you're running a sort of powered game, which was really fun. And if you don't like Dungeons & Dragons, I and Misha Stanton, my good friend, made a GM-less storytelling game about high school drama and sports called Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, and you can find that on my itch. It is so much fun to do. We're doing a campaign of this on our Patreon for Join the Party. It is the silliest, most fun thing I've done with a bunch of friends in a very long time, and you can find that on my itch, and I will include the links in your episode description. Y'all.
Yeah, that sounds great. We'll put all those links in the description.
Those show notes are prime with good stuff.
Indeed.
Especially this week. So,
are you guys ready to talk about Monster Slayer?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So, I actually like to call this subclass the Castlevania Ranger. It screams Belmont at me, and I love it.
Oh, nice.
Or Van Helsing, if you prefer. Same.
I really felt this as a Witcher sort of thing.
That's in my next line. Also, I get a lot of Witcher similarities in this as well. That was my next line on my notes.
Just to jump on it before you say the actual thing, what I find really interesting is that all Rangers have their favorite enemy. But this is supposed to be the Monster Slayer, but it's just like if you want a fighter who is a ranger, you do this, which I find really interesting, and I think that then it becomes a conversation as you make your character about then it becomes like your favorite enemy is so important. I would even start narrowing it down because like we're not even talking about fiends. Maybe we're just doing demons. Maybe we're just doing like werewolves. Right. Maybe we're just doing that. I would nerf myself if I was playing a Monster Slayer because or maybe you're really doing the Monster Hunter sort of thing. You only do these giant, like it needs to be large creatures. And I think that they touch on that a little bit in the Ranger Revised when we're talking about like fighting a Colossus, fighting a lot things that run in a pack. I think you might want to nerf yourself and be really specific about this if you're going to apply the stuff of Monster Slayer to that, which is why I felt Geralt in this.
One quick thing on The Witcher. I remember the first time I played Witcher 3. I had this dawning realization pretty early in the game of like, this is what a ranger should feel like in D&D.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it feel more like this?
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
But all right, but let's get into it. So the Monster Slayer, you've dedicated yourself to hunting down creatures of the night and wielders of grim magic. A Monster Slayer seeks out vampires, dragons, evil, fae, fiends, and other magical threats. Trained in supernatural techniques to overcome such monsters, Slayers are experts at unearthing and defeating mighty mystical foes.
Cool.
So the first feature you get at level 3 is Monster Slayer Magic. You learn an additional spell when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown in the Monster Slayer spells table. The spells count as ranger spells for you, but do not count against the number of ranger spells you know. I should have printed this out, but I know it's things like counter spell, detect good and evil. I think is on there.
I have it in
Powerful
front of
stuff.
me if you want it.
You have? Oh, awesome! Can you read it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
3 is protection from evil and good, which I feel like is the one you're turning on all the time. 5th is
Yeah.
zone of truth. Suspect, confusing. 9th is I want to see if this vampire is lying before I shoot it in the face with a crossbow.
Yeah, it's a weird, I don't know. That spell's
Yeah, why that one?
That
Why
spell's
that spell?
messy, like by itself.
Yeah,
So
but the next one
maybe
is
you're-
magic. I think that they just didn't have one for this level because the next one is magic circle, makes sense. After that is banishment, makes sense, and then the final one is hold monster. So I feel like they're putting
Gotcha.
all of the flavor into the spells, but then zone of truth just makes no sense.
Yeah, it just sticks out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's one scenario where I thought of where if you are, let's say it's a vampire or a big bad like that
Yeah.
that you're hunting, they're going to have henchmen. And so maybe to find a thread for the next clue, you're going to force one of their henchmen to tell you what the next step should be or
I can
something
see
like that.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, like you're definitely probably not going to be using that on
Yeah.
the BBEG.
And that is very specific.
Yeah, I mean, there's some utility. I'm thinking maybe that's what they had in mind.
Right.
Not sure.
Also at level 3, you get a feature called Hunter Sense. You gain the ability to peer at a creature and magically discern how best to hurt it.
Can I say one more
As
thing?
an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet of you. You immediately learn whether the creature has any damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are. If the creature is hidden from divination magic, you sense that it has no damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
This is like fucking RoboCop. Does RoboCop do that?
Does RoboCop do that? I
I
don't know.
Does he? I know he like analyzes his like Terminator or something. Like
Yeah, I did base the bioscanner for Persephone and Superquest off this ability.
Okay, sure.
Loosely. But yeah, I actually like this ability a lot because you have become so in tune with the creatures of the night that you hunt that you're like you have this catalog of knowledge, and so you see it, you recognize certain aspects about it, and you're like, this thing's probably weak to this, probably resists this, and it probably is immune to this.
Yeah,
okay.
So
I think this is interesting when D&D, because D&D doesn't do this a lot, but a lot of other games do, when it's the player having a conversation with the notes that have been prepared by the GM. Like very
this is
infrequently,
metadata you have to give to a player.
Exactly, but like I'm okay with that because then
Me too.
Why does this person have knowledge? Do you have it like The Witcher because you've literally killed so many things? Are you a big nerd? Do you have tech? I think that those and this is something, just one more thing about the idea of Monster Slayer. Why do I have Zone of Truth? You really shouldn't, because it's called Monster Slayer, but if you want to break out of what D&D said you are, then it becomes like, do I want a nerd character or someone who cares a lot more, like the idea of the wizard who has to prepare and think about all of these things? Then I would really lean into that.
So when I built my character, I almost did go the nerd route. I was thinking almost like a scholarly type with like some glasses and like a crossbow, but the reason he's so effective is just because he knows all the different details of all these different monsters.
That's very interesting. And I think that this is honestly, let's talk about another game, Monster of the Week, which really maps onto this particular character, is like, are you the kind of are you a Buffy where you're just really good at it, but that's not your personality? Are you something like The Witcher where it's your entire life? Are you someone who has like believes in these, like in the crypt? If you're playing not a straight up fantasy game where it's weird that there are in fact monsters, then it's like, are you are you like a Cryptonomica sort of person? Or do you live in like Gravity Falls?
Are you
or
Giles
something?
from Buffy?
Yes, exactly. Or do you study it because it's real and everyone else doesn't know, or like are you a kook like you're in some other thing? So I find that really interesting.
That is really interesting. So you get another ability at level 3. This one's really stacked at level 3. You get Slayer's Prey. So you can focus your ire on one foe, increasing the harm you inflict on it. As a bonus action, you designate one creature you can see within 60 feet of you as the target of this feature. The first time each turn that you hit that target with a weapon attack, it takes an extra 1d6 damage from the weapon. This benefit lasts until you finish a short or long rest and ends early if you designate a different creature. So this is kind of like Hunter's Quarry, or Hunter's Mark is a spell for 5e. Hunter's Quarry is the 4th edition feature, which is also just like this.
4th edition?
Yeah. So this is basically, they ripped this from 4th edition Ranger, which isn't a bad thing. And
it's just like Hex for Warlock, right?
Yeah, well, and it stacks with the spell Hunter's Mark, so I really like it.
Nice, okay, cool.
It's just good damage. I like it.
I was looking up RoboCop since I had some spare time.
Of course you were.
And the reason I don't really know about it is because it's a movie from the 1980s, so I can't do our 1990s joke.
No.
But he does have thermal vision. I don't know if this counts. Now I need to go watch RoboCop.
Thermal vision is not the same. That's
you know,
a different.
There's like fucking 5 of these things?
Yeah, I know.
There's just so much crime in Detroit that they need to figure it out. What a terrible premise for a movie. It's so upsetting.
I do like the 2014 remake RoboCop. He looks pretty clean. He's got a lot of guns.
Oh, I never saw it.
That's what we need to give the police is more guns. That's what
right. This is let's go back to the Monster Slayer.
That's the premise of RoboCop. I didn't say it. That's them.
I know, that's my fault.
To be fair, RoboCop is a commentary on like fascist militarization of the police force. So.
It is.
That's the movie. That's the joke.
Yes, I did explain the joke. At level 7, you get a feature called Supernatural Defense. You gain extra resilience against prey. Let me start over. You gain extra resilience against your prey's assaults on your mind and your body. Whenever the target of your Slayer's prey forces you to make a saving throw, and whenever you make an ability check to escape that target's grapple, add 1d6 to your roll. Ooh. So this is where the Monster Slayer starts shifting into a different type of character called the Mage Killer in my book. Because you start becoming way better at counteracting magic that is done to you. And in this case, you get an extra d6 to your spell saves, saving against spells of targets of your Slayer's Prey.
A very interesting variant that's not fantasy is like we're playing the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, right?
Okay. Ooh, yeah,
because it's about grappling too. So it's like this person is such a freaking Sherlock Holmes and knows everything that they're good at all of these things, which I find very interesting.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
think we've pulled Robert Downey for anything yet.
No, not for anything yet. Speaking of which, I was watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in chronological order.
Sure, yeah, okay.
It was really cool. It was fun. I watched it like that.
Speaking of
Robert Downey.
Underrated Iron Man 3. Very underrated.
Yeah. I'd say Iron Man 2. I think that one gets a lot of hate, and it's not so bad.
I actually didn't watch those because of the hype that kind of surrounded them was negative, but they look great when I watch them on, I'll watch a clip on YouTube.
I think it's hard because the first movie was so good.
Yeah,
unexpectedly
it was pretty good. Yeah.
And so the hype.
Yeah, but one of them has what's the name of this actor? The guy. One of them has
Sam
Mickey
Rockwell?
Rourke. One of them has Mickey Rourke doing electricity shit, and the other one is like a mediation on how Tony Stark doesn't actually need his suit. So I would say Iron Man 3 maybe better.
Yeah, maybe Iron Man 3 is better, but maybe Mickey Rourke doing electric shit is also fucking cool.
I do like the scene. That scene at the racetrack is fucking wild.
Anyways, at level 11, you get Magic User's Nemesis. You gain the ability to thwart someone else's magic. When you see a creature casting a spell or teleporting within 60 feet of you, you can use your reaction to try and magically foil it. The creature must succeed a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or its spell or teleport fails and is wasted. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So once a short rest, you can just tell a spellcaster, nah. Now, this is a cool feature. I've kind of struggled to try and picture of how this mechanically, not mechanically, but pragmatically works.
Okay.
How do you do this?
I actually have a thing for you. Actually.
All right, let's hear it.
So this is something I put this in an item, but it's very similar. So one of our characters is a monk, and her character is that she is the caretaker and kind of park ranger of this one neighborhood that has been preserved in the larger city. And Aggie, her background is she has superpowers because she's a super, so she has abilities to do construction, and if you do a perception check on a building, she knows what it looks like because she has carpentry powers. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's fucking dope.
It's based off of the outside. I can sense the inside.
Yeah, I call it her superpower.
Awesome.
But also her superpower, superhero name. She's the Preserver, and she has like a bladed like ranger hat and stuff like that. So that's like kind of her whole
That's
brand.
cool. Some Peaky Blinders shit.
Yeah, or like the guy from Mortal Kombat who throws her hat. Not like Odd Job. But like
no,
Kulang.
yeah, I know. He's got like a really wide brim.
Similar, very similar.
Yeah.
And we reflavored the darts to be like that. But the point is that she got a magic item which is like bear mace, but it's really counter spell. So it would really just like however you want to, like you just spray it in the air. It's like no.
So you stop doing that.
Oh man, bear spray is it's a tricky beast, man. Don't be downwind from when you spray 'em. Make sure when you're going to bear spray a bear that you get upwind of it first.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or then all of your things are going to be counterspelled. You want to make sure that it's in a different place. So again, it's like like we said with the scanning of Hunter Sense, like maybe they use tech in this way. It could be an item which is baked into the thing.
There we go. I like that.
It could be like if we're doing the Sherlock Holmes thing, like he hits the 5 pressure points that he learned in ancient the Iron Fist place to negate magic. Like there are a few different ways you can do it depending on the flavor of your character.
Righto. Okay. And then finally at level 15, you get a feature called Slayer's Counter. You gain the ability to counterattack when your prey tries to sabotage you. If the target of your Slayer's prey forces you to make a saving throw, you can use your reaction to make one weapon attack against the quarry. You make this attack immediately before making the saving throw. If your attack hits, your save automatically succeeds, in addition to the attack's normal effects. So
this is cool.
Sometimes, so this is actually great. I love this feature because basically it's saying, not only am I not going to save, but I'm going to stab you. And I just love that.
It's like what's that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure shit where it was like I countered your counter and I countered your counter's counter.
Yeah, exactly.
This feels very Witcher to me. There's also like that one scene in Indiana Jones where the ninja takes out like the sword and flips it around, and then Indy just shoots him with a gun. It feels very much like that.
Yeah.
And
he's like all fucking tired. He's all sweaty. He's like, oh my god.
Harrison Ford was actually tired, and they changed all the blocking. There was supposed to be a massive like sword fight, and they just changed it.
He's like, can I just shoot this guy like in the script too?
That's another way to look at it. Harrison Ford would be a monster slayer, or sorry, Indiana Jones would be a monster slayer if you wanted to look at it like that. Have an archaeologist background that you get from the Curse of Strahd adventure. That could also work. Or,
I think that could.
Not the Curse of Strahd adventure.
I like that.
Also, I like the narrative that Harrison Ford is the monster slayer much better than Indiana Jones. That'd be fun.
Right. Yeah,
also,
sure.
all the nerds out there, it was Tomb of Annihilation. I apologize. I meant that one instead of
Tomb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Nerds.
Actually, it's funny. We're going to record the Sararak episode after this.
Ooh.
So we're going to talk a lot about Tomb of Annihilation.
Is this episode airing before Sararak or after?
This will be after. So
you just heard a Sararak last week.
You did, but we're about to record it after we record this one.
Yes.
Ooh.
All right, so
time travel's weird.
Does anybody have anything else to say about the Monster Slayer before I share my character really quickly?
I think I've pulled as much pop culture out of this episode as I can.
Yeah, I think the same thing that I said in the beginning of the episode. Rangers fit really well in whatever type of genre you want to do. You want to play a Sherlock Holmes style, a detective. You want to like have an Indiana Jones dashing archaeologist. There are so many different types in media of people who kill a specific type of beast that you can really pull from whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, I like Rangers in general. I know they get a lot of hate, but like the kind of skilly classes like Rogues and Rangers, they suit me. I like it a lot.
There's something just about Rangers, and I know you've talked about it because I've not been on any of your other Ranger things, but I think that the Ranger was created from a different type of Dungeons and Dragons that is not focused on in 5th edition, which is the crunchy, this is the terrain I'm on, I need to be able to forage for food, I need to drink water.
Yeah.
And I don't
think
there's a whole rule set for that.
Yeah, the Ranger is based off Aragorn from Lord of the Rings because he's like the first like Ranger type character in fantasy.
Yeah.
That's where the dual wielding comes from, and the bow, and the foraging through the forest, and all that other stuff, and the knowledge about all the different creatures. And he's like trying to protect the hobbits. That's the origin of the class itself. But yeah, the Ranger's always been my favorite class, and I remember being very disappointing coming into 5e and realizing very quickly that it was underpowered compared to a lot of the other classes.
I think just that's the issue, like what we're bumping up about what the game is supposed to be. Like if 5th edition is going to be about interaction, then give them more knowledge. The ranger should have knowledge things that is not a direct debuff to their actual skills. Like,
yes, exactly.
What kind of you could have proficiency or good or know things about the world that doesn't just have to be, oh, you don't get 50% off your speed when you go in this thing. So I think that they could have done something else.
If the ranger wasn't going to be as effective in the combat scenario, it should have been buffed in the utility scenario.
Exactly.
But anyways, so let's talk about my character. I actually just built a Shadowkai edgelord, basically.
Nice. Classic.
So her name is Rhiannon. She is a level 8 ranger, Shadowkai. Chose the Far Traveler background.
Cool.
We'll get into her backstory in just a quick second, but her stats are, she's got, her main stats, she's got a 16 in Dex, 16 in Constitution, 14 in Wisdom, 8 in Charisma. She's not very personable. She's really rough around the edges. She's got 16 AC, plus 3 to Initiative, 76 HP. She resists Necrotic through being a Shadowkai. Let me see here. She fights with 2 scimitars and a heavy crossbow. She has all the features that we talked about today for the most part up to level 7. Just trying to pick out anything that's specifically. I chose the Warcaster feat because she gets up in the melee, but she does cast spells.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you get opportunity attacks with spells and things like that.
Yeah, and that I believe advantage on concentration saves and all that other stuff, or however that works. I chose Forest and Arctic. For her, she's mostly focused in the hunting of fiends and the undead. She's like an unholy bounty hunter, if you will.
Very Shadowfell-y.
And let's get into her story. So, or let's we're gonna start with her description. So she's female, 5'6", lean, muscular build, ash gray skin, long black hair with shaved sides. Ears have piercings, 1 for every necromancer that she's slain.
Same.
So we'll say like
Me too.
3.
Okay.
Usually seen. Usually they are unseen beneath her cloak, her hooded cloak, and also unseen beneath her cloak and armor is a tattoo on her back and shoulders, the sigil of her clan. God, my fucking handwriting.
You do this every week.
I do this every week. Yeah, my handwriting is just so bad. It's so legible right after I read it. I'm like, yeah, I can read that. And then 2 weeks go by. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking when I wrote this?
Just, if you need to, just do Liam Neeson films. I feel like that's what you need to do.
She may have at one time been considered an attractive person, but she's become so battle scarred and has so many magical burns that one cannot ascertain if that was ever true.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
she's super war torn looking.
She's super war torn.
All right.
She comes from the Shadowfell. Shit's rough there.
Yeah.
So Rhiannon was born to a clan of acclaimed hunters and killers of the undead and fiends of the Shadowfell, the Gloomwalkers, hired by cities and travelers looking for defense and disposal of such creatures and their masters. Over the course of decades, the clan's prowess and knowledge grew to the point of striking fear into the hearts of intelligent undead and lower-level fiends across the Fell. Rhiannon was steeped in the ways of her clan from childhood, learning the mystic ways of hunting down the unholy and foul. Their weaknesses, psychology, behavior, and abilities, all part of her tutelage, along with combat training. As expected, she was inducted as a full huntress by her early 20s after her first successful mission, eradicating a ghoul's nest. Rhiannon partook of many missions following this for many years until the day she returned to her enclave to find it burned to the ground. And those not burned were left as shambling zombies wandering the plains aimlessly.
Bummer.
Filled with vengeful obsession, she now hunts the one who brought destruction to her clan. Her search has brought her to the material plane, and now she supports herself by plying her trade, assisting towns, families, and regions plagued by supernatural horrors and monsters. And job after job, she seeks for clues that might bring her closer to her vengeful quarry.
Cool.
Nice.
So,
All right.
yeah, she's on a quest for vengeance. I got her to the material plane because I didn't feel like a Shadowfell adventure.
Okay, for sure.
But yeah. And I left it open-ended for the DM to decide who was the one who destroyed my village, basically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So nothing too out of the box about this one. I kind of went with like a classic feel, a classic fantasy feel.
Yeah. So your adventuring party is going to be on board with whatever she's up to, pretty much.
Yeah. And I just picture her a little bit rough around the edges, but honestly, she's just been hurt and life has just really sucked for her.
Yeah.
And yeah.
There's something really fun about her experience with monster hunting, and now she's doing it in a place that has so many less monsters. It's like she's a plumber, Like she just comes through and like, you got one of these zombies again. Oh, just give me a second. I gotta get a wrench.
I like that. I was kind of picturing her as basically helping those that no one else can help. Like, a village that has like a shadow infestation. Oh, yeah, but no one can help. No one knows what's going on, and like no one can figure it out. And she rolls through, and she happens to have this one specific skill, and she figures it out immediately. And she saves these backwater towns that no one is out here helping.
Oh, yeah, no. She's like, everybody get... the sun's to her back. She's like, everybody get behind me. And she just starts throwing knives behind people.
I love that. That's incredible. Yeah. It's almost like when you go to your your aunt and uncle's house or your grandma's house for a holiday, and it's like, I'm the IT person. I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah, there we go.
It's benevolent, but it's still like there is a weariness that you have vampires. Like, I thought you might had super vampires that I've dealt with in the dark Underdark. Where it's like, have you tried turning it on and off again, and you throw a knife in the vampire's face?
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, she's getting a mercenary request at the tavern, like somebody's seeking her out for a town, and she's replying like, "Did you try turning the light off and back on again?" Question mark send. I was like, steeds up.
It's like, then why did you buy that undying light in the first place? That's what you're supposed to have it
for. I like that. I like that idea. All right, guys. Anything else we want to talk about before we get ready for our long rest?
Oh, your holy symbol wasn't plugged in.
Oh my gosh. All right.
There they go.
Eric, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to have you on again, and it's always a pleasure to have you here.
Absolutely. I'll be here in 2 years.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you in 2 years.
We do a very long check-in time in between stops with Eric.
It's true. So, it's very true.
But thank you a lot for coming on. I had a lot of fun. Just go ahead and let our listeners know one more time where they can find you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you can find me on Twitter at L_Silvero, EL_SILVERO. My name if I was a Lucha Libre wrestler with an underscore in the middle. The podcast is Join the Party. I think you really like it. Our campaign 1 was fantasy, kind of like that fun pop culture fantasy, but campaign 2, we're doing this modern, more sci-fi inspired powered world, and I think you'll really enjoy it. We also have after parties after every 2 episodes where we talk about what's happening in the story, but also what we're doing games wise, so you can improve your own game at home. And if you don't know how to play Dungeons and Dragons, or you know someone who doesn't know how to play, we actually have 2 beginners episodes from our first campaign that teach you how to play, where we pop in with like tool tips, as you might know from your various software things or games that we are like, this is what a saving throw is, that is inserted into the story itself, so you can get people to learn how to play D&D.
Very cool, very useful.
Awesome.
That's what we're all about. Let's get people playing this dope game.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're gonna get ready for the long rest, Eric. We will talk to you later.
Absolutely. See you later, guys.
All right.
Bye. Oh, it's time for the long rest, Will. We made it.
We did.
It was a long episode.
It was. It was.
But thank you very much to Eric Silver and Join the Party.
Indeed.
Podcast. You can go check them out in the show notes below. And what else is below? Is that my feet with some fucking warm Join the Party style slippies on it?
Oh my god.
Very cozy. Very mechanically sound.
Indeed they are.
Yeah, definitely check out my feet, dog. Look at them.
Oh, I see them.
Yeah, don't be scared. Hey, contest. What day is this episode? We're recording our episodes out of order. So I'm all confused.
Someone won. 2 people won.
Somebody. Fuck. I don't know. Yeah.
2 people won our revamped Curse of Strahd copies that we were giving away. One on Instagram, one on Twitter. Or one on Instagram, other on just general social media, but mostly Twitter. Right. But we don't know who you are yet, because right now it's like October 17th. But on October 31st, we will know, and you'll know because we'll have told you.
Yeah.
And when we do know when we next record, we will let you know who are listening to us right now.
We'll announce the winners and their handles. So yeah, it's the normal shtick, guys. Yeah. Been doing this
We've
for a while.
all been through this before.
Right. Unless you're new to the show and you haven't been through this before, in which case, welcome. And I hope you enter our next contest, which is book related.
Which I guess we can announce now.
You should, even though we'll be announcing it last week first.
Yeah, wait. No.
It's already in motion.
There are details that we haven't decided on yet. So there is another contest going that will be announced very soon.
Well, the prize will be Tasha's Cauldron of all the stuff.
Indeed it will. Probably the deluxe edition, just because I feel like being fancy.
Yeah, that's a pretty good prize to win, is some fancy book art. Which I think that one is like a gray, sort of grayscale looking thing. It looks very nice. It's very different from the
past
other
ones.
styles I've seen, which I'm excited about.
Sure.
If the thing I saw is the thing that is, you know what I
Okay,
mean?
I know
I'm
what
not
you
really
mean.
positive.
I get what you're
but
saying.
I think it'll probably look fucking awesome because they always do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think by the time this episode airs, Super Quest Saga will be back.
Oh yeah, Super Quest
So we're
Saga's back.
Yeah, so go check that out.
This is the most ambitious episode we've made so far in terms of post and like writing and things like that. There's a lot of scripted parts that are going to help. Like, honestly, this is a great jumping on point if you just want to like
that's actually true.
jump in without listening to the rest of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really, really happy with the way it has turned. I'm done with the audio mostly.
Yeah, I have to hear a lot of this. Can't wait.
Yeah, I have a couple of music things to do still, but
okay, for sure.
I'm really, really happy with the scenes, like the way the way they came out. So
cannot wait.
Very excited. Very, very, very excited. Everybody should be very excited. I'm always really excited when a Super Quest comes out, and I'm usually like talking about how hype I am for this episode. This time is different for these the amount of work that went into this one.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
we appreciate you guys waiting. You know, we want to make sure it's, you know, as polished as we can get it. There's some technical errors that happen when we're recording that we can't really avoid sometimes, but you know, we get it. We get it as clean. We want to get it as clean as we can from here on out.
Like
so we're going to take our time.
Like accidentally recording with my laptop mic when I should be recording with my mic.
Yeah, and those are things that like when you're doing audio.
Sorry,
it's a hiccupy system. Like there's just things happen. Cameras shut off unexpectedly on us quite often. This is like an indie podcast, I think is what they call it. And we're just a couple dudes.
We're like a pirate radio station.
We're like a pirate. We turned a room in the house into a pirate radio station. Yeah, on the internet. That's pretty much all this is. So we really, really appreciate the support. That is like you guys are all very, very supportive of our work. And obviously, especially if you're in this part of the show, Long Rest, you're a dedicated listener, and we want to especially thank you guys. So thanks for being patient with us and enjoying our content and talking about the show. I mean, it's a big part of my life at this point. So,
yeah, definitely.
We're going to keep doing it. All the episodes that we promise we're going to give you. Eventually we have a long list of them.
So many episodes to do.
Yeah, you know, let's just ride the 5th edition wave until, you know, we wind up on the shores of
6th edition.
Of 6th edition? Oh, God. I don't even want to think about that. You know how many fucking books I bought, dog?
Welcome to D&D, dude. No, I picture this edition going, it came out in 2015. This edition's going at least till 2030, I think.
Yeah, so we were talking about like 3rd edition went for a long time, right?
2nd edition went for a long time.
With
3rd edition went for like 10 years. 4th edition went for like 7 years, and now we're at 5th edition, and it's already gone 5 years.
Okay, cool.
And I don't see it stopping. So I think we're looking at like 10 to 15 year minimum, which I think is a healthy amount for an edition.
Cool. This has been an interesting long rest.
Indeed. I think it's time we talk to everyone later because we have more episodes to record. We got to get to it.
Yeah, we should. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks for everything.
Contest details incoming
as soon as we know.
Yeah, as soon as we get them, you'll know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk to you. Let's call it a game?
Let's call it a game.
All right. Yeah. Bye.
The Dungeoncast.